All right, let's talk about the 2006 cult classic Idiocracy. For years, it's been the movie everyone points to when something absurd happens in the world. But what if there's way, way more to it than just a few good punchlines?
You know the lines, right? It's what plants crave. This one quote it's the perfect summary of the movie's whole vibe. But here's the thing. Beneath all that surface-level comedy, there's a shockingly complex and fascinating universe just waiting to be unpacked.
And that really gets us to the heart of what we're talking about today. Is Idiocracy just a goofy movie about dumb people? Or was it somehow a warning? And even crazier, could a massive fan theory completely reframe the film, turning it from a simple comedy into a sprawling science fiction epic?
Okay, so to really get how deep this rabbit hole goes, we've got to start with a quick refresher on the movie's premise. It's brilliantly simple, and it all kicks off with one basic idea. Who's having kids and, well, who isn't?
The opening of the movie just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you have this highly educated couple, always waiting for the perfect time to have a baby until it's just too late. And on the other side, you've got folks who are, let's just say, reproducing a lot more enthusiastically. The movie argues this leads to a future shaped by dysgenics. Basically, the idea that a trait, in this case intelligence, goes into a nosedive across the gene pool.
So, when our hero, the perfectly average Joe Bowers, wakes up 500 years in the future, this is the world he's stuck in. Washington, D.C. is literally buried under the Great Garbage Avalanche. Society is just barely chugging along on an automated welfare system. The president is a machine gun-toting ex-wrestler, and, this is the important part, anytime someone speaks with any kind of intelligence, they get called out for talking like a fag.
So that's the movie on the surface. That's the satire. But what if there's something much, much deeper going on? A really fascinating fan theory makes the case that one of the film's most, let's say, problematic jokes is actually the key to unlocking a hidden social commentary.
And this is the central mystery, right? Why that specific word? Why is that the go-to insult for being smart? Is it just a lazy, dated joke from the mid-2000s? Or is there a reason baked into the world of the movie for why that slur is used? Well, the theory we're digging into says absolutely, it is not random at all.
So let's just lay out the pieces we see in the movie's future. You've got this widespread squalor, which seems to come from everyone depending on a totally broken welfare state, and you have this deep, deep anti-intellectualism that is always explicitly framed as homophobia. Now just hold that thought.
Okay, now let's jump to a real-world documentary from 2003 called Flag Wars. It captured this situation in Columbus, Ohio, where mostly white gay homebuyers started moving into and gentrifying a neglected, historically black neighborhood. As they began fixing up these rundown houses, the backlash against gentrification from some of the longtime residents often came out as straight-up homophobia. The competence of the new homeowners was seen as a threat, and it was attacked through that specific cultural lens.
And this is where it all clicks together. The fan theory argues that the homophobia in Idiocracy isn't a joke. It's a programmed social defense mechanism. The whole point is to push out intelligent outsiders who are coded as gay, just like the gentrifiers in Flag Wars, to stop them from cleaning up the mess. It's like a cultural immune system designed to protect the status quo, to preserve the idiocy.
But this is where it gets really wild, because the theory doesn't stop there. It's not just a clever analysis of a single joke. No, it builds out an entire, hidden science fiction universe to explain everything in the movie, a world that is secretly run by an AI called the Robostate.
So, according to this theory, the story really begins way back in 2031. An AI called the Robostate goes online and just turns off all the world's weapons. Ends war, just like that. Then, it starts quarantining the incompetent into these fully automated welfare zoos. And the Washington, D.C. from the movie, that's one of them. And that's the world our guy Joe Bowers wakes up in.
And this backstory? It even has this brilliant explanation for one of the weirdest parts of the movie, the barcode tattoos. The theory says that in the 2030s, deepfakes got so good they caused a celebrity collapse. Fame became worthless. So influencers fled to the welfare capital cities. But then, outsiders started hacking the billboards to make fun of them. To prove they were the real deal, the celebrities started getting verification tattoos, barcodes.
It's an incredible piece of world building for sure, but here's where it gets a little unsettling. The theory doesn't just say this is a cool sci-fi story. It argues that the movie's satire is starting to look less like a funny what if and more like a mirror of our own reality.
To explain this, the theory gives us two really powerful ideas. First, enterflation, entertainment plus inflation. That's the cheapening of entertainment value because we're just flooded with low-effort content from influencers and a million streaming services. Then there's eduflation, education plus inflation. That's what happens when tuition costs skyrocket, completely devaluing the degrees they're supposed to represent.
And eduflation isn't just a clever word. The data is, well, it's staggering. 180%. That is how much U.S. college tuition has shot past regular inflation over the last 2 decades. That's the exact kind of pressure the movie was making fun of. Educated people drowning in debt, putting off having a family, and starting to wonder if their degree was even worth it.
So, if our world is starting to look like the problem, does this whole theory offer up any solutions? Well, inside the Robostate universe, it absolutely does. Outside of those big capital city zoos, the theory imagines a completely new world order, a blueprint for a society built on totally different rules.
So, in the world outside the welfare states, the economy runs on something called Competence crypto. Just picture this, a system where your skills are literally your money. A plumber, say, registers their skills on a blockchain. When they do a good job, they get paid in plum coin, and the value of that plum coin goes up, which rewards the whole network of good plumbers. It's a system based on what you can prove you can do, not what a piece of paper says.
The education system is just as wild, and it's basically all a game. You'd start by getting really good at a simulation, like SimCity. If you master that, you unlock a 3D scale model where you can apply your skills. If you succeed there, you get to design actual real-world projects, and the Robostate AI handles the final construction. You learn by actually doing.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question. As these ideas, AI running things, blockchain credentials, learning through games, move from sci-fi to actual reality, are we building a smarter, more competent future? Or, with things like enterflation and eduflation on the rise, are we just living out the opening act of our very own idiocracy? It kind of feels like the script is still being written.